Hi guys, in this video I'll tell you why reputed corporate organizations prefer to hire people who have a more neutral English accent. But before I continue, I want to congratulate Divyanshu, one of my viewers on my YouTube channel, Happy Tour. He got a job in an international process and he was earlier working for a domestic process. So he recently commented and told me that, he bought my book, How I Learned to Speak in English, and he also watched my YouTube videos and he was able to, improve his spoken English and finally get through to an international process. So great job, Devanshu, and it's also a lot of your hard work that you took the effort to read the book, to watch the videos, to improve your own English. So great job. Okay, so the reason why reputed corporate organizations hire people who have a more neutral accent is because usually, they foresee the employee working with them for a long time. Because when they're hiring someone, they want a person whom, they would train and that person would work with them for a longer period of time. That's how, big organizations view their new hires, okay? So let's say if I have to hire someone into a reputed organization, the first thing I'm going to look for is basic English, okay? Because such organizations work with international clients. When I say international clients, means your clients can be from the US, the UK, Australia, so different countries. So what happens is if a person has a neutral English accent, it'll be very easy for that person to communicate with those clients effectively. And let's say even if you have basic decent English but you don't really have an accent, which is okay, even then you'll be hired because there are people like us who can train the employee on making their English more neutral. Now when you say neutral, what do I mean by neutral English? Nobody expects you to speak in an American accent or speak like a Brit. What they expect is more neutral sounds. For example, if you're saying something like time. Now if you keep saying the word time, so that kind of it's not that the clients have a big problem with that. However, you will stand out if you are more neutral and you will say time. So nobody expects you to speak like an American, but more keep it more neutral. So the ter can be a little less like a ter, but more like a somewhere in between a ter and a ter. Okay, so it becomes like ter, time. So that's a neutral accent. Now you'll wonder, okay, but this is so hard. Like I haven't spoken in English, and how do I suddenly start speaking in English? Well, fair enough. I absolutely say that it's all right and there's nothing to be embarrassed about it, because at the end of the day, we are speaking in our own languages here, okay, in India, whether it's Hindi or any other language that you are used to speaking. In fact, at home or with a lot of my own family members or friends, if I feel that they don't want to speak in English, I do not use this kind of an accent with them, okay? So it totally depends on whom I'm speaking with. So similarly, guys, when we make other people around us so comfortable, right, we speak with them the way they are talking to us. Similarly, when we're talking to our clients, it's equally important to make them feel more comfortable. So that's why a neutral accent. If you speak with someone, let's say from the US, and you say something like, how may I help you, what's your name, or can you tell me your name? It's very awkward to them, that's not how they're used to communicating. So if you say something like, how may I help you, and could you please tell me your name? So that is why a neutral accent, so that you're able to build trust. And the moment you build trust with the customer, then it's very easy for you to talk to them, communicate with them, sell your product, or maybe if there's a customer service job that you have, it's just easier to do that job. And the better you perform, the better your organization will perform. So this is the reason why a lot of corporate organizations have the communication training sessions. They have voice and accent training sessions, just to neutralize the accent. And also these days we are also getting into cultural sensitization. So we also teach them a bit of their culture, how they are culturally, so that it's just easier to gain their trust. Because at the end of the day, your job will be much easier if your client or your customer trusts you. So this is the major reason. Now I'll give you let's say a future vision also. So we have to agree and admit that if you are someone who can communicate with a variety of clients, especially international clients, you will always have an edge when it comes to your promotion. If you want to, let's say, get promoted to a manager's role or a senior manager's role, team leader's role, eventually become a CEO, or if you're looking to work in the organization for a long time and to grow in that organization, then also it'll be much easier if you have a more neutral accent. And that is the reason I always say that, look at your career graph not just today. So when the thing is, when we're working for a company, if we just feel that, okay, I'll just do this job for the heck of it, if that's the attitude a person has, then it's very hard to go a long way. That's why certain people end up becoming managers and certain people don't become managers. So if you're serious about growing in a corporate organization or wherever you're working, I'm saying if that particular company or organization requires you to talk in English, if you're in a, let's say, kind of a job where it's not required and you're only dealing with, let's say, people in India and your job is going fine, then nobody is telling you to neutralize the accent. Because I think, in fact, English speakers, as an English speaker, I don't mind. I can speak in Hindi. I also speak in a bit of Punjabi, depending on whom I am talking to. So that is perfectly fine. But if you're working for an international company or a corporate organization where you foresee that, okay, eventually I can make it big in the organization, then it's very important to focus on your accent right from the start. So I'm not saying speak like an American or a Brit, but kind of neutralize the accent. It'll be much easier for you, when you're actually considering to apply for different job positions within the company also, or if you're planning to, let's say, change your job and you want to apply for a bigger company. So it's very important. So rather than getting frustrated about it, it's always good to learn. And these days there's so many YouTube videos available. I recently made a YouTube video on the kind of resources you can use without really wasting a lot of your time. So you don't have to stress out about not having a neutral accent. All you have to do is check those 2 dictionaries. I mentioned that in my last video. So just go ahead, hear that video and see if it helps you in any way. So on this note, you guys take care. Bye bye.